This episode is brought to you by AARP. 10 years from today, Lisa Schneider will trade in her office job to become the leader of a pack of dogs. As the owner of her own dog rescue, that is. A second act made possible by the reskilling courses Lisa's taking now with AARP to help make sure her income lives as long as she does. And she can finally run with the big dogs. And the small dogs, who just think they're big dogs. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Learn more at aarp.org/skills.
Welcome back to Everyday Economics, the podcast that helps you learn about the economic world happening around you every day. I'm your host, Chris Krug, CEO of the 501c3 nonprofit, nonpartisan Franklin News Foundation. Everyday Economics is a production of America's Talking Network, and you can subscribe to all of our podcasts at americastalking.com. To support Everyday Economics, please make a tax-deductible charitable contribution by clicking the link in the show description. We're recording this episode on May 31st, 2024, and joining me as always, Dr. Orphe Divounguy, PhD economist, podcast show maven, and soon-to-be columnist at the Center Square and the Center Square Newswire. I'm very excited about that. Dr. O, we've been talking probably for, a few months now about trying to help people to get ahead of the news and sort of point to the data or the reports or the reporting on the economy in advance so that as this information comes forward, that they can, A, be ready to receive it, and B, make sense of it in terms that everyone can understand. So you are launching with us a new column that starts next week, not an opinion column per se, but basically an items column that you are going to sort of map out the things to look for in the economy. I'm pretty excited about it. Tell us what you're going to try to do with that craftsmanship.
Yeah, I mean, look, I do this quite a bit, where I basically just kind of look at the economic data that's going to be released, and I talk about it, just trying to make sense of what's happening already, but also how the numbers might shake out in the report, just to keep us prepared for and avoid any big surprises. And so we got a couple of big economic reports coming out next week.
Yeah, what's on your list for your debut here?
Well, the things I'm going to be tracking are, of course, construction spending. Construction spending fell last month by 0.2%. Easing, likely to continue to ease or even contract, right? And the reason is twofold. First, in the residential side, we have massive number of units that are already being built. Builders will not be adding necessarily to housing at this time, especially given the fact that mortgage rates were so high in the month of May, right? So high in the month of April, so high in the first 3 weeks of May. So I, on the multifamily residential side, not so much. In fact, starts are lower than they were a year ago. On the single family residential starts were higher than a year ago, but easing this year. And so I don't expect a ton more construction spending this year, at least not more than last year, for sure. You do have some government spending, but that is likely to also ease potentially due to how tight conditions are. Although, the CBO projects government borrowing is likely to increase this year. And so we'll see. The ISM manufacturing index is due. It's the Institute for Supply Management. They track business sector activity, both manufacturing and services. The manufacturing comes out on Monday, June 3rd. Manufacturing still in contraction territory. A small improvement from last year, but still very much contracting. Auto sales, in my opinion, likely to ease. We have the job openings number coming out on June 4th, on Tuesday next week. That's also likely going to see a small decline. Still a tight labor market, though. You got a 3.9% unemployment rate. But financial conditions have tightened considerably. Again, this report is for April, So maybe we're not going to see the big drop, but I suspect May is going to show some numbers that are going to reflect the slowing of the labor market. In fact, we have ISM services also in construction territory last month, likely going to show more contraction in May. The economy is slowing, but ultimately the biggest report next week is going to be the U.S. employment report. We added 175,000 jobs in April. The May numbers are coming out. And, I would like to continue to see the U.S. economy adding jobs, but it's important that we see labor supply continue to increase because without that, the labor market will remain very tight. Everybody will be paying attention to, or at least should be paying attention to, hourly earnings. The hourly wages increased by 0.2% last month, which was an easing from the previous month. Wages on a year-over-year basis are still at 3.9%. That is a level that is still too high to bring inflation back down to the 2% Fed target. And so we should be paying attention to earnings, to wage growth in next week. That's going to be really the number that everybody will be paying attention to. And of course, if wages come in above expectations, then we're likely going to see an increase in yields, perhaps a stock sell-off. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we can continue to see that wage inflation is easing to a level that is consistent with the Fed's 2% target.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to see, what you do on this show at the Everyday Economics podcast in print. I think that's going to be terrific, for our publishing partners around the country and their local audiences, and certainly the audience that consumes the news at thecentersquare.com. Dr. Orphe Divounguy, his new column launches this coming week, and I hope you'll be able to spend some time with that. I think it'll be well worth your while, get you set up to understand what's coming. Dr. O, thanks again. For Orphe Divounguy, this has been Chris Krug. Subscribe to Everyday Economics and dozens of other high-quality podcasts at americastalking.com.
Are you tired of news that puts politics over people? At the nonprofit Franklin News Foundation, we believe in putting people over politics by delivering nonpartisan news and audio content that serves you, the American taxpayer. With Franklin News Foundation, you can read fact-based, state-focused news for free at thecentersquare.com. You can listen to civil, balanced conversations between policy experts through our podcast network at americastalking.com. Or you can get in-depth news on K-12 education spending, curriculum, and school safety at chalkboardnews.com. It's all free through Franklin, where we put you, the American taxpayer, first in every story, episode, and conversation. And it's only possible through our supporters. Together, we can produce content that puts people over politics and brings Americans the news they deserve. Become a supporter today at franklinnews.org/donate. Once again, that's franklinnews.org/donate.
Feeling sluggish or weighed down? Could be a sign that you are not getting enough daily fiber. Metamucil's fiber helps promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. It gels to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Get better digestive health for a better you with this easy way to get more fiber. Find Metamucil at your local CVS. This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.